So today I want to talk to you about something. I want to talk to you about one of the best reasons to be an entrepreneur that you didn't even think about or that you didn't even know about. See, a lot of people they think about starting a business or being an entrepreneur because, financially they've got some sort of goal they want to accomplish. It's ultimately about the money. I know some people have a hard time with that, but that's what it's really about. It's about making enough money to be able to live the kind of life that you want to live. It's about being able to help your family, secure your future, pay off debt, buy a house, buy a bigger house, go on vacations, travel, replace your job. There's some reason that you want to make money. But I had something that happened this week, and this is actually the second time, and I hope that there's not many more of these times, and I hope that there's nothing more serious than this. Of course, the odds are stacked against me, provided I live long enough and I work long enough. But basically, so not today, sorry, this week I got I'm working in my office, and my wife calls, as you know, obviously work from home. Been working from home for almost 14 years, and I made a great living in that time period, and I've been able to secure our future really, and it's been extremely rewarding. But it's this what I'm about to tell you now is the thing that's probably most rewarding that I didn't count on, because you see, before I got started in business, I was young. I was 24 years old. I was working as a registered nurse, and I left my nursing career behind at 25. But it was this thing here that I didn't anticipate because I didn't even have kids. But to me today, at 38 years old, this is the most important reason to work from home, I believe. And it's to know that you're available when you need to be. So you see, I was down here in my office working early this week, and my wife calls. Now, she wasn't panicked. It was just, but it was kind of a measured, Jackie. And I was like, yes. Can you come here? See, and my wife doesn't hardly ever interrupt me when I'm working. So I knew that something was going on. And I could just kind of tell that something in her voice. So I go upstairs, and she said, I need you to go look at your son's eye, see if he needs stitches. So listen, I can do pretty well with a lot of this stuff. I will be honest with you. Um, when I know that something's going on, there's an emergency taking place, I was never in emergency medicine. I worked as a cancer nurse, and that was over 10 years ago. But I still have this thing that kicks on where it's like, okay, Jackie, be prepared, stay calm. And I do really good in most cases. And my mother-in-law one time came to me, and she was literally starting to choke. And we ended up, I didn't have to do Heimlich or anything like that. She didn't completely choke. It was a matter of getting her calmed down so her throat could relax. And I was really calm in that situation, and she was really panicked. In fact, she used to teach first aid, and she shared that story several times. And in that story, she compliments me for being calm and relaxed because I help calm her down. But when it's your kids, I feel myself telling myself to calm down, but then I'm feeling anxious. So I'm going upstairs, and honestly, I wasn't trying to rush. I knew it wasn't a real problem. It wasn't a medical emergency because my wife was calm. See, I've heard her scream my name before, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. She screamed my name once before, and that was an emergency. So I go up there, but each time I'm going up, them steps are feeling a little bit longer because that's my little boy, and something's not right, and I don't know if he's scared. So I go upstairs, I go in his room, I go into the bathroom. He's got his bathroom. Him and his sister share a common bathroom, and I go in there, and um, he's just sitting there, with a rag over his eye, and I didn't know what I was going to pull back, but he ended up having a cut right, actually just underneath his eyebrow. And she said he literally just rolled over on his bed like he was, I mean, he jumped on the bed like he did himself, and he has a little guitar, and he hit his eye on the side of the guitar. It's an actual little acoustic guitar, and he hit his eye on the edge of it. She said it didn't look like he should have done anything, and he was whining, and she got onto him for whining, thinking he was just tired or something, and he rolled over, and there was all this blood, and she was like, oh my goodness, and he was bleeding. So ended up having to go get stitches, which is fine. I'm just thankful that we were able to be home. Because you see, and that wasn't a big deal. I'll tell you about something that was a big deal here in a minute. But if that would have happened and he would have been, and he's got 5 little stitches right now in his eye, and he was a real trooper. But if that would have happened and I was in the hospital or on any other job, I might would have had to ask for time off, If my wife was working, she'd have to ask for time off. Um, but because we work from home, we didn't have to worry about that. And that's, listen, if you've got kids or you have family, you have people that rely on you, that's the single biggest reason you should make a decision to work from home right then and there. More than anything else, that's the single biggest reason. And so I'll tell you quickly about the story with my daughter. I got a call. I was in my office, same thing, except my wife screamed. My daughter was a baby, and I knew something was wrong. I couldn't. I mean, I jumped up from my desk, and as you can see, I have kind of like a corner desk. It's glass, so I pushed away, and I went around the desk and went out the door. And she's holding my daughter, and she's totally limp, and she just looked at me, and she's about lost it, and she said she's having a seizure. She had a seizure. I can't remember what she said. And I just remember seeing her, and I scooped her out of her arms, and I'm watching her. And seizures typically, they're going to recover and they're going to be okay. It's not normally life-threatening as long as you know they don't choke and you monitor them and everything. But as your daughter, you don't know. And she wasn't, she was diaphoretic. She was real sweaty. She wasn't breathing the best in the world. And I'm holding her. She's tiny. She's just a few months old. And I said, call 911 because I wasn't going to wait for her to potentially be in trouble before 911 came on the way. And at the time, she was fully not responsive. She was just out in my arms, which I had expected. We didn't know why she was having a seizure though, and I didn't know if this was going to, lead to something else. So she's giving 911 instructions on the phone. They're asking questions, and I'm answering their questions, letting them know, what she's doing. And finally, I kind of see her start to blink a little bit. She starts to move her head. She was still out of it, but I saw her breathe normal, and I knew that, she was going to be okay. We just need to take her somewhere. So to my wife, I said, you know what? Cancel that. Let's just take her to the children's hospital. And we got in the car and we took off. We ended up spending the entire day in the hospital. My daughter ended up being fine. She did have one other seizure another time. She's not had one since. They ran all the tests. They never found anything wrong with her. I guess that this is something that sometimes happens with some small children. They don't ever have any other issues with it. But I was so thankful that I was at home and I was able to be there when my wife called. Yes, I work from home. I'm in my office right now. Working for yourself takes motivation, but it's worth it on every level, not just because we've paid off debt, not just because we get to enjoy a lifestyle that most people don't, not just because we've vacationed and traveled to crazy places all over the world in the Caribbean and North America, not because we get to take off 6 to 12 weeks a year. All that's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay it. But it's being there for your loved ones. That's what it's ultimately all about. Be there when people need you most. And I don't think I fully appreciated that early in my career. Thank you for watching. Until next time, if you have any questions about business, finance, family, whatever, just write it below. You got questions about production, being productive, any comments, any questions, just write them below. I will make a video to address your question if you put a question in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.